My name is Faith Henderson. I am 34 years old, 16 years in the United States Army, Sergeant First Class, 2 deployments to Afghanistan, $0 unaccounted for in my entire career. For 5 years I paid the mortgage on my parents' house from 4 hours away, $1,240 every single month, plus property taxes, plus insurance, plus every repair from the roof to the water heater to the exterior paint. I polished the brass doorknob on the front porch 53 times over 5 years, because nobody else noticed it had gone dull. And on a warm June afternoon in Asheville, North Carolina, in front of 40 relatives, my father stood up in his new polo shirt, put his hand on my brother Derek's shoulder, and announced that the $2.5 million house now belonged to Derek because Derek had stayed. Then he turned to me and smiled and said, "Thank you for saving our house, Faith." Like I was the caterer. Like I had brought a nice dessert. What my father did not know was that the house could not go anywhere without my signature, because my name was on the deed. And what nobody at that reunion knew was that my 84-year-old grandfather Raymond, the quiet man in a veteran's cap, whom my father had been dismissing as a senile gardener for years, had a brown leather folder sitting under his chair that was about to make the house look like pocket change. 5 years before that reunion, my father called me at 2 in the morning, crying for the first time in my life. The sound came through the phone like static, halting, wet, ashamed. "We're going to lose the house, Faith. I don't know what to do." He had taken a second mortgage on the house to keep Henderson Hardware alive after the pandemic, and now the balance was $380,000, 3 months past due, and the bank had already started foreclosure. His credit score was 520. My brother Derek's was 490. I spent 72 hours on the phone with lenders, running numbers between duty shifts, and I found a path. A VA loan refinance that cut the monthly payment by 40%. There was one catch. A VA loan requires the borrower to be on the deed. My name would go on the house. My father said, "We'll sort out the deed later. Right now, just save the house." I saved it. I set up automatic payments from my own checking account and absorbed $1,240 every month into my personal budget. I ate at the military dining facility more often. I stopped buying coffee. I did not do it for leverage. I did it because my father was drowning and I knew how to swim. Nobody ever brought up the deed again, and I was too busy paying to force the conversation. For 5 years, Derek lived in that house completely rent-free. He did not pay utilities. He did not mow the lawn. Every Christmas when I visited, my mother met me at the door with a list of repairs and handed it to me with a smile. "You're so handy, sweetie. Derek's been so busy with the store." I fixed everything on every list every single time. Then one evening, a legal monitoring alert I had set up for the Henderson Hardware business registration showed something that made my stomach drop. Derek had taken out a merchant cash advance, $180,000 at an interest rate equivalent of 38% annually. I called my father and kept my voice level. "Dad, Derek took out predatory debt. The interest alone is eating the business alive." My father's voice went cold. "Derek knows what he's doing. Don't be jealous because he stayed and you left." I called Derek directly. His text back was 3 words. "Mind your own business." I called a real estate attorney in Asheville who confirmed what I already suspected. The house could not be transferred without my signature. I saved her number. I did not call her back yet. I did not want to sue my family. I wanted them to listen. They never did. The night before the reunion, unable to sleep, I opened my laptop and ran a fresh search on UCC filings under Henderson Hardware. It was not one merchant cash advance. It was 3. $180,000 from one company, $90,000 from a second 4 months later, $70,000 from a third just 6 weeks ago. Total $340,000 in high-interest debt, all secured against the store's inventory and equipment, one already in default. I closed my laptop and stared at the ceiling. I had warned them once and been told I was jealous. I was not going to beg to be hurt a second time. I opened my notes app and typed every single number. Data, not drama. My father's announcement came after lunch. He tapped his glass, stood at the head of the table, talked about Derek staying right here every single day, keeping the family business alive, and announced the house belonged to Derek. Applause. Derek raised his glass. Then my father turned to me and the warmth left his face completely and was replaced by polite courtesy. The kind you give a stranger who holds a door open for you. And Faith, well, Faith chose a different path. We respect that. Thank you for saving our house. There it was. Said to 40 people who had no idea what those words actually meant. My mother dabbed her eyes and said, "We're so blessed to have both our children." Derek leaned over and told my father he was thinking about renovating the kitchen. My mother beamed at me. "See, Faith? Everything works out." She was smiling the way people smile at someone they have already decided is fine, the decision made long before the question was ever asked. That was the part that hurt the most. I stood up, walked to the kitchen, filled a glass of water, walked back out, and stood at the end of the table and waited for the chatter to notice me. My father said, "Sit down, Faith. Have some cobbler." I said, "Dad, before everyone leaves, I need to clarify something." I kept my voice completely flat, the same register I used when briefing colonels on budget reports. When you couldn't make the mortgage payments, I refinanced this house using my VA loan eligibility. My name is on the deed. My name is on the mortgage. I have been making every payment for 5 years, $1,240 a month, plus taxes, plus insurance, plus every single contractor. My father blinked. That was temporary. We agreed. We didn't agree on anything, Dad. You asked me to save the house. I did. Then you never mentioned it again. My mother said, "That's a technicality, honey." I said, "A deed is not a technicality, Mum. It is the law." Then I said the part nobody saw coming. Since we are being transparent, let us talk about the actual numbers. The house is worth $2.3 million by the county assessment. Subtract the $220,000 I still owe on the mortgage I am paying. Then subtract the $340,000 in merchant cash advance liens Derek took out against the store. My father turned to Derek like a turret tracking a target. "What liens?" "Derek, what is she talking about?" Derek's face crumpled. "Dad, I was going to pay it back. The store was bleeding. I couldn't let it die." Uncle Tom already had his phone out checking the North Carolina Secretary of State website. He put it down 60 seconds later. "She is right, Robert. 3 liens. Total $340,000. My father looked at me. "Are you satisfied? You have destroyed this family reunion." I said, "I did not destroy anything. Dad, I just stopped pretending." And then my grandfather Raymond placed both palms flat on the table and pushed himself slowly to his feet. He stood the way old soldiers stand, as if the act of rising were itself a statement. He removed his veteran's cap. Silver hair underneath still cropped short, still regulation length after 20 years of retirement. "Sit down, everyone," he said. "I have something to say." My father started to object. Raymond said only his name, one word in command voice, the kind that stopped soldiers from charging into fire. And my father sat down like he was 12 years old. Raymond looked at every face around that yard and spoke clearly. "Most of you know me as a retired army man who grows tomatoes. I served 26 years in the United States Army Special Forces. Command Sergeant Major. 3 Bronze Stars and a Silver Star. Vietnam. Grenada. Nobody in this family ever thought to ask." The yard went completely silent. "I also invested quietly for 30 years in index funds and rental properties across 4 counties. I tried to tell you, Robert. You said I did not understand business. You said times had changed. So I stopped talking and I started watching." He reached under his chair and placed a brown leather folder on the table. 2 years ago, I established an irrevocable trust, meaning it is permanent and cannot be undone by anyone in this family, including me. The Henderson Legacy Trust holds $8.2 million in assets. Aunt Carol made a sound like she had swallowed wrong. My mother's mouth was open and nothing was coming out. Raymond looked directly at me. "The trustee, the person who controls every dollar, every decision, every distribution, is my granddaughter, Sergeant First Class Faith Henderson. 16 years of honourable service. 2 combat deployments. $0 unaccounted for." He closed the folder. "I did not choose her because she is my granddaughter. I chose her because she is the only person at this table who has proven she can be trusted with other people's money." My father was on his feet, face dark with pressure, voice cracking. $8 million? You had $8 million and you never... I gave 30 years to that store.